morning, everyone. I am Simona Moldovan, part of the Worth Partnership Project team, and I will guide you during Europe's largest creating incubator showcase, Worth Partnership Project. It is an honor and a pleasure to welcome you to the future of the creative design. At the celebration of this successful initiative and opportunity destined to creatives from the fashion and lifestyle industries. At its final show, closing a 4-year journey after having supported 152 disruptive design projects and putting the pillars for the foundation of a relevant European community of creatives, innovators, designers, manufacturing SMEs, technology firms, experts, as our members from the steering board and mentors, organizations, country ambassadors, who are all ready to take the next step. This today online showcasing event it is live broadcasted on the Worth Project dedicated website, YouTube, and Facebook, and counts with the privilege of being welcomed by the European Commission representatives, the owners and promoters of the Worth Partnership Project, who made possible this initiative. Our welcoming journey will continue with the presentation of the complete image of this creative initiative drawn by the project coordinator, whose strategic coordination has been a key asset to the successful implementation of this project. We also propose an attractive program of insightful lectures, where our remarkable speakers will take us on an interesting journey focused on the evolution of craftsmanship, exposed by Assaad Awad, followed by the insights of Professor Carlo Ratti on how the office, cradle of idea, connections, and know-how exchange has changed and will change. The following day, after finding out how or why design got us into this mess and now it needs to get us out of it, presented by Richard van der Laken, we will be briefed by creative business development expert Janos Keresney on how to transfer your talent to an intellectual capital and how to earn real money with that. Along with the virtual exhibitions that we strongly and kindly invite you to visit on the event dedicated page, 66 projects from the third call of projects will be virtually showcased during these 2 days. So check our agenda for the Global Challenges approach and the way these designers and SMEs contribute with key solutions converging around circular economy and resources efficiency, rethinking social innovation and social inclusion, the reinvention of craftsmanship and European heritage preservation, advanced digitized manufacturing, value chains and business models, smart and high-performance materials, high added value solutions for attractive growth markets. So do not miss the showcasing of the future of creative design. It starts every day at 11 a.m. around that. Now, it is a pleasure for me to introduce in our welcoming ceremony the head of unit of proximity, social economy and creative industries at European Commission, Anna Athanasopoulou. She's head of proximity of the social economy and creative industries at European Commission. She's an official EU since 2002. She has held various posts in culture, media, creative industries, copyright, and external relations. Deputy of Creative Europe, assistant to the Deputy Director at DG Education and Culture, member of Cabinet of European Commissioner, Andrula Vasilou, EU Council at Office at UN Geneva. Now, Anna, the stage is yours, and we give you the microphone. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me fine. I'm actually excited to be with you today. I would have loved to see you in person. I would have loved to see many young faces around the room. But yes, what can we do? We have to get used to being connected through screens and sometimes talking to machines. So yes, indeed, as you rightly said, we have arrived at the end of this phase of the Worth Partnership Project, a project the Commission has been supporting since 2013. It's been some years now. But I hope that it's not the end. I hope that this is rather the beginning for many of the business partnerships we have supported during the last 4 years, and certainly for the 66 amazing projects that you are showcasing these 2 days, and actually to help them find their way into the market. It is true that the last months have been a trying period for creative professionals and entrepreneurs. And the COVID pandemic posed additional challenges for the implementation of the Worth project and the rollout of the selected business partnerships from incubation to market maturity. And indeed, the economic impacts of the pandemic are visible. In 2020, the EU economy contracted by 6.3%, with major turnover losses and decline in employment and investment. And that we know, because we're looking at the situation very carefully, that the situation has been particularly critical for the cultural and creative industries, where SMEs are smaller than the market average due to the high share of freelancers and micro-enterprises. So looking at that particular sector of the economy, the so-called cultural and creative industries, during 2020, we have been looking at a fall in revenue between 30% and 80%, and with expected losses estimated at 162 billion euros. So it is therefore a success that the Worth Partnership Project brought good results even under adverse circumstances, and I would like to congratulate you for that. Because from the side of the Commission, we're happy to see a total of 152 business partnerships mentored, resulting in prototypes and proof of concepts, and involving 346 partners and companies in 34 European countries participating in the COSME program. We are happy to see that partnerships between designers, manufacturers, and craftsmen and tech providers can develop innovative business ideas to address challenges of different nature, whether we're looking at societal challenges such as circular economy and resource efficiency, or advanced digitized manufacturing solutions, reinventing craftsmanship, or thinking about creative solutions to social inclusion. And we're happy to see that the Worth project is not only about bringing the partners together, but also about bringing their innovative business ideas closer to the market and providing a launchpad for further EU funding opportunities, for instance, under Horizon 2020 and its successor, Horizon Europe, for the years to come. So looking at the results achieved so far, we can see in the Worth project another illustration that creativity and design can indeed be drivers for innovation in the economy. And this is why we have decided to run a new phase of the Worth Partnership project until 2025. Our goal is to reach a minimum of another 200 business partnerships for innovation. So we really have to aim high and have a high ambition. Why? Because for us, the objectives of the Worth project fit very well with the overarching policy objectives of the EU industry and SME policy. And here I may enter into more obscure language, Brussels language, but I think it's relevant and useful to share some elements with you. A few days ago, on the 5th of May, the Commission updated the EU industrial strategy it had adopted barely a year ago in March 2020, one day before WHO declared COVID-19 a pandemic. So our timing was not perfect. But now, with the updated industrial strategy, what we have tried to do is to look at the priorities and see what needs to be adapted for the future. So the horizontal priorities of industrial policy remain overall the same, if only put in a new sense of urgency by the lessons learned during the current crisis. So first priority, the green and digital transformation, the so-called twin transition. Why? Because for us, it's the only way to ensure the competitiveness and prosperity of EU industry and businesses on global scale. Second, it's about strengthening the resilience of SMEs, which are the backbone of EU economy. And third, it's about strengthening the single market, perhaps the EU's most important asset, and an asset that offers certainty, scale, and can serve as a global springboard for European companies. One of the key features of the updated industrial strategy is the new approach based on the concept of industrial ecosystems. The ecosystem approach, in this case, brings together public and private actors, innovation and investment bodies, who are interconnected along value chains across national borders in the EU. It would help us shape tailored toolboxes for each ecosystem, looking at different aspects, from skills to investment, access to funding, and barriers to the single market. And it's interesting for you to know that the culture and creative industries is one of the 14 industrial ecosystems we have identified. And through this cultural and creative industries ecosystem, we will continue engaging with creative professionals and entrepreneurs, with public authorities and stakeholders to help creative industries and creative entrepreneurs grow and contribute to sustainable recovery. We need it, I think, everywhere in the EU, but also to the twin green and digital transition we wish to see in European economies and societies. So for this particular ecosystem, the Commission is proposing transformative initiatives in 3 areas to help creative professionals and entrepreneurs scale up and go beyond national borders, acquire skills such as digital skills, entrepreneurship skills, and managerial skills, and last, make the most of the digital transformation and of experimenting with new business models. It's true that the current crisis has exacerbated the underlying fragmentation, underinvestment, and lack of skills we have been seeing in culture and creative industries. So through the toolbox of the culture and creative industries ecosystem, we wish to help address chronic challenges creative SMEs are facing, such as, for instance, finding investors and accessing global markets, or keeping up with rapidly changing mix of skills. For instance, for many creative occupations, and you see that in your daily life, what is required is a broad combination of skills from engineering, data analytics and computer science to social sciences, design and arts. Or also another type of challenge, looking at the recognition or the lack thereof, the lack of recognition about the contribution of creative and cultural industries to the EU economy. Also perhaps linked to the lack of data, but certainly there's things that we need to do about that. Or last, the challenge indeed, which is a very, I think, at the heart of the Worth project, the challenge of a good and effective collaboration between creatives and tech industry. For instance, for the way we see it, latest technological developments such as artificial intelligence, augmented reality, Internet of Things, or 3D printing are fields full of potential for the creative industries in terms of content creation, services, distribution, and also relation to end users. Now, looking at the tools and the means for the future, it's true that a number of EU funding instruments will support creativity and creative industries for the period between 2021 and 2027, whether it's cohesion funds, InvestEU through the SME window and the dedicated guarantee facility for loans and equity platform, Horizon Europe, the Digital Europe, Creative Europe, and of course the Single Market Programme and its COSME pillar. But member states also will be mobilizing investment to support creative industries under the National Recovery and Resilience Plans, which are in the final phase of adoption and which will aim to inject investments and put in place reforms to help sustainable recovery in the member states. So our hope in Brussels, our hope in the European Commission is that the seed money we give through the Worth Partnership Project will lead to many more creative ideas, able to seize existing support and funding opportunities to help them grow and reach the market, and why not global markets. So I would like to leave you with this message. Thank you again for having me with you, and I wish you an exciting 2 days ahead. Thank you.
And for the promising opportunities that you have presented us. Now, it is also my pleasure to introduce the head of unit the European Innovation Council and SME Executive Agency, Natalia Martinez, Paramo. She is the head of unit of EIASME. She was responsible in different directorate generals related with negotiations of the EU-Latin America cooperation agreements for external relations and subsequently for development. During her time in the General Directorate of Education and Culture, she held the position of Deputy Head of Unit and was in charge of a team in finance unit, giving support and service to the operational unit in the budgetary, financial, and contractual areas. She also joined the General Directorate of Enterprise, Internal Market, and SME as Deputy Head of the Human Resource Unit, a responsibility she will continue to hold in the European Innovation Council and SME Executive Agency. In the 2014 as head of unit, she also was responsible for managing the COSME program, the first EU program for the competitiveness of small and medium enterprises, of which one of it's the pillar for the European Business Network. It is my pleasure to give the microphone now to Natalia and to thank you for joining us today.
Hello, Simona, and good morning, everyone. I hope you can hear me and you can see me. And as Anna said, it's really a very pleased to welcome you to this final event of the World Partnership Project. As you know, a project funded by the COSME program and managed by EISMEA, the European Innovation Council and Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Executive Agency. As Simona said, she has introduced myself, but I'm the head of unit of the new European, as I said, new European Innovation Council and Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises, EISMEA of the European Commission. And most likely this acronym says little to you. In fact, this is the name of the agency that succeeds EIASME, that it sounds familiar to you, the European Agency for Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises. And EISMEA began operating about 1 month ago, so 1st of April, so brand new. At EISMEA, I didn't change my role. I'm still responsible for COSME, is the program developed to support competitiveness of small and medium-sized enterprises. COSME will be now a pillar in a broader program, the ambitious single market program. So I really welcome this opportunity to introduce the new agency to you and also, why not, to speak about our work. But first, I would like to welcome all the participants of today's event. And also a lot of thanks to the organizers, because they have given me the opportunity to be with you and celebrate together all your achievements. I would prefer to be in person, as Anna said, but unfortunately, this is not possible because of the pandemic, but we have IT tools that allows us to be more or less with you. So it has been a long way you have been through since the launch of this project back in April to 2017 until today. You have faced many challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic, but you managed to overcome them successfully. So I want really to thank you for your commitment and your efforts, which was not easy due to the specific circumstances that we are living with. And with this in mind, I would like now to refer to the role of EIASME, I mean the former agency, in supporting SMEs, and walk then through the COSME programs, which the new EISMEA, the new agency, has inherited. After that, let me say a few words about how we have been supporting SMEs in the fashion sector, and of course, the achievement of the World Partnership Project, and to look ahead and see what comes after this completion. So, as I said, the European Union has been supporting business for many years through policies and strategy. What was the aim? To put SMEs at the center. SMEs account for 99% of the business fabric in Europe. and 67% of their jobs. So as such, we can say that they are the backbone of the European economy. And we want them to be the driver behind the recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. One of our agency key objectives is to enable SMEs to realize their full potential in today's global economy. To do this, we run several actions in the areas of SME support, innovation, and entrepreneurship. And this brings me to one of the programs EASME, and now ESMEA, is responsible for, COSME. COSME, let me repeat it, is the EU program to support the competitiveness of small and medium-sized enterprises. Until now, until the 1st of September, COSME has been a separate program, independent program, but till now, from now, will be a pillar of a broader program, the ambitious single market program. So in the period 2014 and 2020, so in the past 7 years, COSME was endowed with a finance envelope of 2,300 million euros. As I said, from 2021, COSME will be a pillar of the broader single market program, a far-reaching program with a total budget, believe me, 4,200 million euros, scary figures. And where there will be primary focusing COSME, supporting SME. How? By actions aimed to ease access to new market, improve conditions for business, and of course, encourage the development of an entrepreneurial culture. And when it comes to support of SME in the fashion sector in particular, because that's more interesting for you, EASME, and now ESMEA, has been managing several actions. And this is justified by the fact that these SMEs provide an important contribution to the EU economy. You won't be surprised. 5 million people are directly employed in the fashion value chain. And over 1 million people are employed in the high-end industries, making them one of the most vibrant and creative sectors in Europe. So these industries, from complex and interlinked value chains, from the design and manufacturing of fashion goods, such as textiles, clothing, footwear, leather, food product, jewelry, and accessories, and high-end goods to their distribution and retail. But that's not all, because in addition to the contribution to the EU economy, the fashion industry can play also a major role in reaching the objective of climate neutrality by 2050, a target, as you know, set by our President of the European Commission. Let me now to refer to two examples of action that COSME has been managing in the fashion industry, besides, of course, the World Partnership Project. The first one is a call for proposal that we published in 2019 on circular fashion. What was the objective of the call? Was to enhance the competitiveness and improve the environmental performance of European fashion industry by building capacity and supporting small business, designers, startups in the sector to become more sustainable and also to turn their business model into more circular one. And in total, 4 projects have been found under this call, which were launched in January. And the second one is the Elite project, which seeks to support textile, clothing, leather, and footwear SMEs. How? Enhancing their competitiveness while helping them integrate new technologies in innovative or high added value project, process, or services. But now let's see what are your achievements. What are the achievements of the World Partnership Project? What is the best way to refer to giving you some figures? Over the 4 or 5 years, the project has supported 152 transnational partnerships in the fashion and lifestyle industry, including textile, clothing, footwear, leather and food, jewelry, accessories, furniture, and home decoration. So 152 transnational partnerships. We have 350 partners, 350 partners for 34 countries have been involved in this partnership. A network of 400 privileged partners across Europe, a network of world ambassadors in 24 COSME countries. The world's networking platform number 2,600 members, 33 webinars, 26 lectures delivered, and last but not least, which was the cherry in the cake, featuring on Business Planet last month. So I think the figures speak for themselves and give us a solid ground for celebrating today. So bravo, bravo to everybody. But now we have to look ahead what comes after the completion of this project. So let me share with you also what will come after this. So as Anna said, based on its success, EASME launched a new call for tender last year. In fact, EISMEA, I'm talking about EASME and ISMEA because, as I said, it was launched under EASME, but now it's ISMEA who take the role. So in fact, EISMEA is going to have soon its successful, the World Partnership Project 2 or second. What is the idea? I mean, it doesn't change. It's still to strengthen the competitiveness of SMEs in the fashion industry and lifestyle sector, to increase their innovation capacities, and of course, to help them in the transition towards climate neutrality and digital leadership. And by the end of World 2, we expect to have a minimum of 200 transnational partnerships, which will have received tailor-made support and also coaching in defining and creating new innovative products, services, and business models. So open your ear because I'm happy to announce the successful tender for World 2 is ITEX and its partners. So I really hope that the World 2 will be as successful as World. So thank you very much. I will not thank you very much. Congratulations to ITEX. Let me now move to how EISMEA will continue supporting SMEs via, as I said, the new single market program. I repeat, COSME will be now one of the pillars of this broader single market program, and EISMEA will continue supporting SMEs via COSME Action. So for you, it doesn't change really. It's the name that another agency that takes the former EASME, and the program COSME will stay the same, but not a separate one, but under the single market program. So EISMEA, the new agency, will bring together the European Innovation Council, programs related to small and medium-sized enterprises, and other parts of these single market programs, and also interregional innovation investment initiative. And this single market program will run from 2021 to 2027, and the Commission proposed a new dedicated 4 billion euros program to empower and protect consumers and enable Europe's many small and medium-sized enterprises to take full advantage of a well-functioning single market. And this single market program consolidates a range of activities that previously, as I said, were financed separately, like COSME, into one coherent program. Why the Commission has decided to draw all together in one program all the different pillars, to reduce overlap and to improve cooperation and synergies, but at the same time, allowing us to build on our previous success. So for you, it would change anything, but I think that the idea of the Commission to put all in the single market is a very good idea, and especially, and I said, improve cooperation, synergies, harmonization. So, as you can see, we're in a moment of transition to a new program in a world that has gone through major changes in the last 12 months. And for many of us, this is a bit scary. But I mean, despite these important changes, I'm pleased to say that our mission will be the same: to continue providing high quality support and an effective service to you, the SMEs and entrepreneurs, and to strengthen the competitiveness, innovation capacity, creation growth, and sustainability of the EU economy. And at the agency, believe me, we will make all efforts to continue supporting SMEs in the fashion sector whenever we can. Let me repeat, we will make all effort to continue supporting you in the fashion sector whenever we can. And in this sense, I'm sure that we will manage together these difficult times. And I love to quote Coco Chanel when she said, "Fashion is not something that exists in dresses only. Fashion is in the sky, in the street. Fashion has to do with ideas, the way we live, what is happening." So I think that this reflects the essence of worth too. So let me conclude once again by congratulating all of you for your achievements, and also a big, big thanks for all your efforts. So I wish you an interesting, productive, and exciting event. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Natalia, for your very kind words and very encouraging speech. I think now it's the time that with great pleasure, I can introduce the World Partnership Project Coordinator, Korina Mollá. She has a master's degree in industrial engineering from the Polytechnical University of Valencia. She works in the International Project Department of ITEX since 2008, and she has wide experience in managing big projects and teams. She's been working for Colortex as a logistic manager, and further she has been working at IHU, a technological research center for the toy industry, as project technician. She has also made a one-year stay in the research center in aerospace industry in Toulouse, France, carrying out different technical tasks in an ICT research project. With a broad experience in management and participation in international projects, she now coordinates the World Partnership Project, a COSME-funded project with the aim to provide support to the fashion and creativity industry in Europe. And also she coordinates a LEAD project, also a COSME program-funded project with the objective of transferring new technologies in the textile, confection, footwear, and leather sectors. It is my pleasure to give the microphone to the project coordinator, Korina.
Thank you very much, Simona. So I'm going to share my screen. So let me some few seconds. I hope you can see my screen now. So World is arriving to its end after 4 fruitful and intense years. And as Natalia has said, I'm very pleased to say that this is set to be continued, and that the World has going to continue in a second edition. To celebrate World One, we would like to present the main achievements obtained during this initiative. Let's start introducing World. World Partnership Project, sorry, one moment. It's funded by the European Commission under COSME, the EU program for the competitiveness of small and medium-sized enterprises. World is the sole European project where designers, SMEs, manufacturers, and tech providers work together to develop innovative, design-oriented business ideas. The project focuses on lifestyle industries, including textile and clothing, footwear, leather and fur, furniture and home decoration, jewelry and accessories. Launched in 2017, Worth is now in its fourth and last year of implementation. Throughout 4 years, 152 partnership projects have benefited from an incubation program to develop new ideas, including 10,000 euros in financial support, coaching on business strategy and technology development, legal advice on intellectual property rights and protection, participation in exhibitions, networking, and professional links. Let me show you some figures and facts. Over 4 years, more than 2,600 partners are registered in Worth platform. We received 462 applications from 978 applicants from 36 countries, and 960 transparent evaluations were performed. In this slide, you can see the European coverage of the 152 projects selected. 34 countries are represented in the partnership selected, involving not only those countries where design is well implemented, but also with representation of others where design is emerging and have promising design communities. Also, Worth has achieved a broad sectoral representation. Textile fashion is the most represented sector with 48%, followed by furniture and home decor with 26%, and accessories with almost 13%, followed by footwear, jewelry, and leather and fur. I want to remark that Worth has led to the construction of sustainable partnerships. We are very proud to say that 6 of every 10 partners continue working together, which demonstrate how successful Worth has been in triggering the formation of long-lasting business collaborations and developing ventures building capacities. But the main feature of our Worth incubation program has been the mentoring support. 2,300 hours of tailored mentoring and advisory service were delivered. Also, 40 hours of training, 35 online modules and seminars, and 8 on-site workshops helped 152 selected partnerships acquire or further develop capacities. But not only the 152 selected partnerships benefited of this program, as the whole design community and the general public have also access to the training material, as well as the lectures, workshops, seminars through a Worth platform, which has become a powerful tool of networking. Furthermore, as part of the support program, 6 exhibitions were organized, 2 per round of projects, where the partnerships have the opportunity to showcase the products developed. Also, 3 B2B matchmaking events were 1 per round, intended to connect Worth partnerships with trade partners and other professionals. 3 international networking activities under the format of working groups to trigger the creation of professional connections, as well as the exchange of knowledge and best practices, giving the winning partners the opportunity to connect. And 120 sectoral events in 26 EU and COSME associated countries. But we must also point out the relevant community created around Worth. More than 2,600 creatives, including fashion industrial product designers, manufacturing SMEs, creatives, and technology firms from 38 EU COSME countries, who are active in fashion and life industries and display the willingness to enter into transnational collaborations. A community formed of over 20,000 members is engaged with Worth through social networks and over 4,000 subscribers to the Worth newsletter. A network of 44 experts, including members of the steering board and mentors, demonstrated commitment to Worth through their active participation in carrying out transparent evaluations and delivering of the coaching program. A network of over 400 organizations with broad sectoral outreach from all over Europe and 25 country ambassadors have been working to disseminate the activities of the open call and promote content and values of Worth. Over 590 offices of the Enterprise Europe Network were connected with the 152 partnerships to foster their business growth. It is of the utmost importance to outline that the participants have succeeded to develop their project under very difficult circumstances. The pandemic has hit the second and third rounds, and Worth has quickly become online, showcasing in Fori Salone Digital and Dutch Design Week, even organizing online networking events. In spite of this, the partnerships have managed to deploy their creativity and made their most to develop incredible projects. We are completely surprised about your resilience and working capacity. We are pretty sure that you took profit of the unfolding situation to learn new ways to communicate and cooperate. And finally, we would like to listen to those who have made Worth possible. Their voices are now relevant. So I would like to give them the microphone. Then, Worth community, the stage is yours.
Well, Partnership Project, it's a flagship project of the European Commission DG GROW under the COSME program, which is the program for small medium enterprises. And it is a flagship program because we are trying to test some ideas and how collaboration between designers and tech providers or small companies work. If they help companies to stay competitive and to in the market, and if it helps somehow designers to develop entrepreneurial skills. And I think it's a new formula. It's we don't have such a project in the European Union so far. And so we are really testing and experimenting, and some of the results I've seen so far are very promising. We have presented 5 projects during the industry days in Brussels, and they were very successful. And so far I'm happy, but we'll see. The added value is in collaboration between designers and creatives and companies. And I think it's a capacity building project. It means it helps designers to develop some entrepreneurial skills, and at the same time helps companies to tackle some issues and to stay competitive thanks to the vision of creatives. And it's of course they are developing prototypes. They are testing their capacity of cooperating together, of collaboration, and they received trainings and tools to further develop their concept or their ideas, and maybe apply for other funding, like under Horizon 2020, the SME instruments, or look for crowdfundings or other source of funding or investment. And I think this is really the launch pad for most of the projects we have here.
Worth for me was an opportunity to explore my ideas to develop a DIY furniture brand that will empower people to create their own customized furniture using modern technologies such as CNC production, parametric design, augmented reality, and decentralized manufacturing.
For the Worth project, I experimented with a sustainable material, worked together with a partner that has a lot of textile heritage and expertise, and like that we are able to bring this material into the circular economy.
Worth has offered me a collaborative structure to facilitate the development of my project from an idea to a market-ready product.
Worth gave me the opportunity to develop creative and technical aspects of my idea. And thanks to the mentoring program, it provided me a learning experience where I am continuously improving.
What Worth means to me is an organization that supports innovation to encourage cross-border collaboration. And in this collaboration, it encourages new ideas, new design ideas, new processes, new business models to help change migration into an industry that it needs to be.
To me, the Worth is especially about enhancing creativity and collaboration over all borders.
Worth for me has been an incredible experience to bring into reality and support 150 amazing collaborations.
We offer day-by-day consultancy by identifying and protecting intellectual property rights and creating an asset for the future.
Worth project is a proof that Europe as a community and a competitor in the world economy positioned itself as a cultural brand.
Worth is a tangible example of the European approach to innovation. By involving different projects from different countries, actually we are building a European innovation ecosystem based on the values that we believe in.
The Worth Partnership Project gave me the opportunity to combine my classic products with the latest technology.
My project is to make a bag from recycled nylon materials and fishing nets, which will be recyclable afterwards again to integrate in a circular production process.
For me, Worth is a great opportunity to experiment on a professional level and gain substantial experience to realize innovative ideas.
It was an opportunity to develop an idea that I had since a long time. And the Worth gave me the tools and to make it happen.
Worth project for me is the perfect marriage between the old craftsmanship and the new innovative way to do it.
Worth is a great opportunity for innovative ideas and designers to come together and show how we need to imagine the future we want.
Thank you very much, Korina, for drawing an insightful picture of the Worth Partnership Project. And I would like to thank you very much for coordinating this project for success. And now, even though we are a little bit delayed and we don't strictly follow the schedule, but I think it was very interesting and very insightful and encouraging to listen to this welcoming ceremony for our remarkable speakers. I would like to start now the lectures with our remarkable guests. So let's start now our creative journey with the Keynote conferences. So it's my pleasure to introduce Assaad Awad, a Spanish-Lebanese multidisciplinary artist based in Beirut, Lebanon. He, with 14 years in the advertising industry, pushed Assaad Awad out of the bubble, landing him in his workshops between Beirut and Madrid. It was an extraordinary move, as his peers described. His handcrafted leather and metal pieces were first showcased by the likes of Thierry Mugler, Balenciaga, Madonna, Lady Gaga, Teatro Real, Costume Museum Madrid, in addition to numerous editorial appearances in Vogue. Awad's work is known to be artisan and vanguardist, respecting the quality and execution of every piece, designing luxury leather works, industrial accessories, and jewelry. He will speak about Artisan 2.0, the past, present, and future of craftsmanship. Assaad, the stage is yours.
Thank you for the intro, Simona. Hey everyone, I miss you all. Today I will be talking about the Artisan 2.0. So we always talk about artisans as what we know now as a context of being an artisan or a craftsman. I want to go a little bit back in time to know what's the origin of an artisan, what's the present of it, and what would the future be. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. The screen is on, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to put a video. This is an introduction video for the people who's going to see this this webinar because we're recording it. Every artisan has to do such a video. This video I did to introduce myself back in the market in Beirut because I launched the brand in Madrid. So it was like bits and pieces of my work and a very personal chunk about me. Where does it come from? So I'm going to put it and then we go on. The sound is on?
Yes.
Leather, metal and wood. A trio existing in almost every bag. First they said the radio, and then the TV, and then the internet. I think we reached a certain point where taboo is not welcome anymore. So the X-rated in my product comes naturally from deep inside. Exactly like a physician performing a surgery, an artisan has an endless number of tools and needs so many steps to perfectly craft a very simple luxury garment. When I design, I always recycle because it gives me the opportunity to change the function and aesthetic of the recycled material itself. I once did a full wearable collection made out of recycled metal strainers. The Artisan 2.0 is the perfect mix between the handmade and the machine-made, meaning we cut by machine and we finish the garment by hand. This way, technology will be serving the craftsmanship. Me encanta la tortilla de patatas y café con leche, and at the same time, I love the Lebanese manouche with yogurt. Every day, we see more than 5,000 pictures. It enters our brain and gets out with our own reinterpretation. Frankly, I don't imagine my life without design. Crafting accessory in my first tiny workshop in Madrid and being able to collaborate with Lady Gaga, Madonna and Mugler is a dream coming true. My family are George, Georgette, Elie and Tony. Suddenly my cousin dies and they gave me his name, Assaad. Assaad Awad might look like a long name, but it is actually written with 4 letters on the keyboard. Exactly like humans, the bag had its own evolution. Because experience is everything, I would never reverse anything in my life. Black leather, long beard, and a tough character. But in the end, youth is pure, and we are all children from the inside. So what I wanted to reflect in this video was how intimate is an artisan, how everyone approaches an artisan, because it's a very well-made, there's a relationship between the artisan and the piece he or she is crafting. So this is the charm of it. So I wanted to reflect this in the video. If we go back to the synonym of an artisan, it's to the meaning of an artisan, it's a synonym of craftsman, originating from France, and it means art. Artisan means like the one who uses his art for the benefit of others. So it is not only art, because it's a very, very well done garment or piece. It is also a usable piece. So it's not only art to look at, it's art to look at and to use. If we have like a parallelism with painting, an artisan wouldn't be Jackson Pollock, because Jackson Pollock has, I love Jackson Pollock, but he has like a very abstract way to do his painting. So it's like, it's by chance. The shapes are not studied. It's more like the equilibrium of the piece is studied. An artisan is more like Caravaggio, realism, because he has to repeat and repeat and repeat and learn so many techniques to be able to do a perfect piece, a perfect crafted piece. The past of an artisan, the full concept of craftsmanship, appears during the Middle Age, because every individual was making a perfectly crafted product to serve his community. So imagine a village, you would have the blacksmith doing the metal work, and imagine how important was the artisan, because without this blacksmith, for example, they wouldn't win wars, they wouldn't have armors, they wouldn't have swords. The leather artist wouldn't do the bottled water so they can reach a destination. So our civilization is built on artisans. If we put the context of an atelier, of a workshop, it looks like a vertical structure, and it's divided to three categories. You have the master, the business owner, and the master of the craft, which is now a little bit the creative director of the company. And then the workers, the journeyman, they cannot have their own business because they're not yet masters, and they were considered masters when they do their the chef d'oeuvre, which is like the masterpiece. And nowadays, these are the artisans, and the apprentice, which are the interns now, the newcomers. So even if it looks like a vertical structure, actually it's a horizontal structure, because everyone works with everyone. So it's like an exchange of knowledge on a daily basis. So it's not really vertical, because these are like a puzzle piece. These are like puzzle pieces that works together. The job cannot be done without all of these people. So, and then if you take all of these columns, one column for leather making, and the other for blacksmith, the other for any other crafts, these would create the society in itself, the old society. Even cities were built with streets for jewelers, streets for leather makers, streets for pottery. So it was taken into consideration, because, and bit by bit it grew until it became until it's the globalization now. So actually the streets became online. So you have markets online for I don't know, Etsy, for all the artisans. You can reach everyone online. So I have a question. I'm going to put small questions in the presentation. One question for someone. What's the important? How important is an artisan in 2021? Anyone can answer. Short answers.
I strongly encourage the participants to answer to Assaad. Don't be shy.
So Anyone has an idea how important is an artisan in 2021?
We have here an answer in the chat that we can see only us, the panelists. And Matteo Bardi says, yes, very important.
Okay. The artisan is the most important because now we will see it. Okay, so the present. In the present, an artisan, in the past, an artisan could have been located in a village. We would imagine an artisan in a village doing his wonderful work in his super wonderful atelier, the authentic stuff, and serving a small community because there was no internet, simply. Nowadays, with the internet, anyone with a passion inside of him or her can do crafts, can train until his craft is perfect, can advertise it online, and can reach the whole world. This way, he can get money to investigate more, to sustain his business. So it's artisania now is like in its optimum stage. Craftsmanship has shifted from survival kit in the past because it was a necessity. There was no other option. There was no production. There was no mass production. To status kit. It's now it's a luxury. So suddenly, if we noticed, we will get back to the other point now. Suddenly, if we notice, all the brands were advertising craftsmanship, savoir-faire, métier d'art, Louis Vuitton, Chanel, all the big brands, suddenly they woke up that the artisan is a winner story. So the storytelling of everyone was the same. Suddenly they vulgarized this message. Artisan had become like McDonald's. And this is so bad because it's taking advantage of a certain image, but because we know that many brands mass produces, I mean, they might have 2-3 bags that are handmade like any artisan would do, but the rest is machine made and mass produced. We are, in my opinion, we have big freedom now, but we are stagnating. Why? As an artisan, we have so many artisans, we can reach whoever we want online, but we're kind of stagnating. Because in the past, imagine an artisan that does watches. In the past, it was a must because we needed to see the time to go to a meeting. Then, nowadays, it's a status object. So we would buy a watch for 30,000 euros, and then when we want to check the time, we would look at the iPhone. So in the future, which is starting now, the necessity is coming back because in the middle, if we look, there's no necessity because we have other tools that are giving the time. In the past, it was a necessity because there was no other solution. And the future, it's a necessity because it's giving more. The same thing happens to leather making. Before, it was a protection thing to be able to go on, to be able to go hunt, to be able to go to work, to go to the field. And they used to wear hides. Now it's a luxury. I mean, leather work, I'm a leather artist. Leather work is a luxury. You can live without leather, but it's such a nice material that you would want it. And in the future, there would be like we're starting it, but we didn't reach yet the final target. The smart clothing that would warm up our bodies, that would save lives, that would give information about, I mean, smart gears. The utensils in the past were essential to put all the liquids in it. There was no other solution. Now, a beautifully crafted porcelain vase is for decoration. But we're shifting into the smart one, which is eco-friendly. So we use less plastic, and then it's smart, so it keeps the heat, or it cools the liquid, it filters the liquid if we're in the wild. So we're in between, we're getting there. So my question now is, how will technology affect craftsmanship? Another quiz.
Assaad, I have answer for the previous question on one side. If you still want to hear them.
Yes?
Well, we go to the first question where somebody said that the importance of an artisan is to preserve heritage. Then they also said that without artisan crafts, we will be lost. It makes personalized, custom-made, tailor-made, haute couture, and so on possible.
Exactly. Both answers are almost the same, because artisan is the origin. And now we will see why. Because even if we have the latest technology and the latest machine, without the origin, without the épreuve d'artiste, the first piece of everything, nothing would happen. Absolutely nothing. We need the essence. The artisania is the essence of everything.
Thank you. And I think now we have answers to your second question, that how will technology affect the craftsmanship? We have one answer saying that it is a complement, that it's breaking down all boundaries. Tech will be meant, sorry?
100%.
Yes?
Yes.
Tech will be melted to craft. Is needed to build a bridge between crafts and technology. And another answer is it will take craftsmanship to a next level.
Yes, we will talk about it now.
Perfect.
So the future, the fact that technology made it easy to everyone to be an artisan, how it made it easy by the global coverage, not by learning the technique. Because, for instance, I have a background of advertising. I mean, yes, I knew how to draw from before, but with all the YouTubes, all the ebooks I read and everything, I could manipulate leather. And of course, with a big passion inside of me and so many hours, I could manipulate leather, and I became a tutor in this. So technology facilitated this in a way, which was the internet. So before, we had one Leonardo da Vinci that was a maker, because he was a designer, he did the experiment himself, and he was a crafter, so he was a maker. Now we have millions of programmers that are makers, because side by side with artisans, which is the essence of everything, these makers, which are programmers, would do machines that would facilitate our work. So history repeats itself. In the Industrial Revolution, mankind thought that machines were replacing humans. Everyone feared that. For instance, with the technology, designing patterns, cutting leather, textile, technology facilitates work for the maker. So instead of, I mean, I would ask any craftsman if they would like to spend hours cutting leather or metal, and they would say no, because there's nothing like, you cannot show off by cutting leather, because it's the hard labor, you know. So I prefer a 3D laser to cut my leather, and then I have all the time that I would lose on cutting it to craft it, to hand stitch it, to put all my energy and the attention to the detail. So technology is helping us to achieve more, in fact. So machine and advancement will never replace a human. Instead, it will make the workflow better. So we're slaving the machine, actually. So imagine in the Stone Age, innovation was this needle to be able to sew the hides, the animal hides. And now Uniqlo has a 3D knit machine. So with one thread, they would knit a whole like garment. What was considered, for example, an advancement in the tanning of leather, and which is toxic now, is solved by, for example, we have a project in Worth, which is Gelatex. It's a non-toxic substance, and the gelatins and stuff that we throw away usually, it's taking advantage of, and it is transformed into a leather. And in shoemaking, for example, this is a traditional shoe, and this is the not too sustainable high-end sneakers with the techniques, with the new machinery. We can do a flip-flop and shoe. It is they have many material made of blood, milk, wood. So the experimental part is wider with technology. This is a wedding dress from 1870 and a 3D printed dress from Leandro Cano. And it's 3D printed with the machine. So it has like 70% PLA and 30% wood. So the texture is wood, so nothing is impossible. We have so many shapes that was impossible in the past. With technology, we're being able to do it. And again, the project Korina talked about, the 3D printing modular structure system. This is a fantastic project I was mentoring, and it consists on cutting with laser plastic and wood covered plastic, and then the pieces are joined together by hand. So it's a marriage of technology and handmade. A machine would never do this. Yes, it would prepare the big load of cutting because it would take so much time and it would be impossible in all cases if it wasn't laser. But again, we have amazing, breathtaking textures out of this marriage between an artisan and a machine. And another project, the Minois, it's what every woman wants. It's a bag that has a storage for a charger to juice up the mobile. And when you open it, it lights the inside of the bag. So it is in the service, technology is in the service of humans. So question, in the near future, what would an artisan look like? Last question.
I would like to also strongly invite to the listeners to use the Q&A chat assigned in the Zoom for whoever, all the participants connected to Zoom, if they would like to answer to your question. So not only the panelists, but I strongly invite you to answer.
Okay, we'll go on, and if you have an answer, just tell me. These are pieces from my collection that I would like to say the parts that were technologically made and the parts that was artisanally made. So the upper bracelet, the bracelet in itself, it was cut by hand, and then the Medusa is an Ernst Haeckel illustration, a very old illustration that was 3D transformed into a tangible item. So it's a mix between both. This bag, for example, has the 3 techniques. The inside white bag is a fully made bag, fully handmade bag. The outside shell is a laser cutting process, and then the chain is the old mechanical way to do chain. So it's the mix of 3. These as well. This is the wood is made by CNC cutter, so it is sculpted by CNC, and the handle as well. And then the leather is more like the traditional way, and it's hand stitched. The wood is hand stitched with the leather itself. Okay, last thing I'm going to talk about is my collaboration with Mugler. I mean, the metal pieces you're seeing took like almost 3 weeks to cut by hand for the full défilé. I mean, there was like 12 looks with metal pieces on, metal armors. It took 3 weeks to cut these simple patterns, okay? On the other hand, these wings took half an hour to cut with laser machine. Of course, it took 2 weeks to plan it digitally. So I was like planning every piece, printing it out on a small scale, trying the mechanism of it. And then I remember I had to go to Barcelona for the wings, for the city of Barcelona, because they asked me for a pair. So I went there, and the whole volume of a 5-meter wide wings was like 60 by 40 and this thick only, because metal does not like take space. So I went there and I mounted the whole thing there. I'm going to put a video to show you the wings. For me, for example, it could have been impossible to do these wings if it wasn't for technology. So technology is in the service of humans and artisans. That's my conclusion. And I think that in the very near future, we're reaching a new stage of artisania. So it will be a stronger mix because of technology. So that's it for my presentation. If there is any question.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation. Very interesting, inspiring, and creative, and congratulations for all your works.
Thank you.
You have received here in the chat a lot of congratulating words. Also, you have received some answers to your question, to your last question. If you would like, I can read them out loud.
Yeah.
So Artisan will look like a specialist multitasking expert in chemicals, engineer, design, advertising. Another answer says inventive using 21st century tools and methodologies. Visionary editing and combining different know-how. Another answer is the artisan of the near future is an artist who combines knowledge and skills from different fields of expertise, creating this way a new and innovative project. For example, Neri Oxman, who combines product design, biology, and architecture. Another answer. Amazing, congratulations. We should be able to provide access to technology, resources to all artisans, not only the new craft makers, but also those who are already masters in their disciplines, but might not have access, knowledge to these resources. I think cooperation is also key in this sense. And a lot of great work and congratulations. I'm going to check now, sorry for not letting you speak. I'm going to check now the Q&A chat that is different from this one. That are some questions that I would kindly ask to answer them after the following presentation.
Okay, I have one point to stress on. For everyone that is an artisan or a new designer or someone that is venturing in this world, collaborating with others is the most important thing. Without my collaboration with many people, I know there are big names, but I collaborated with many artisans. I mean, when I did the costume museum with Balenciaga, I could have done the work, but I went to 7 artisans in Spain and I collaborated with them because it's very important. It's very, I don't know, it gives more outcome when you join 2 brains together and you work on one piece. So collaborating is the essence of everything.
Thank you very much. We still hope to have you in the Q&A session because we see that you have some interesting questions here for you.
Okay.
Thank you. So now I would like to all of us to listen to Professor Carlo Ratti, an architect and engineer by training. He teaches at MIT, where he directs the Senseable City Lab and is a founding partner of the International Design and Innovation Office, Carlo Ratti Associati. He graduated from the Politecnico di Torino and the École Nationale des Ponts et Chaussées in Paris, later earning his Master in Philosophy and PhD at the University of Cambridge, UK. In the last decade, Carlo has given talks around the world on the scheme of the smart cities, while his work has been exhibited in international venues, including the Venice Biennale, New York MoMA, London Science Museum, and Barcelona's Design Museum. 2 of his projects, the Digital Water Pavilion and the Copenhagen Wheel, were hailed by the Times Magazine as Best Inventions of the Year. He has been included in Blueprint Magazine's 25 People Who Will Change the World of Design, and in Wired Magazine's Smart List, 50 People Who Will Change the World. He was curator for the Future Food District at Expo Milano 2015 and is currently serving as co-chair of the World Economic Forum Global Council on the Future of Cities and Urbanization. He will talk about the future of the office, Cradle of Creativity. Carlo, you have the microphone and the stage.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. And by the way, don't believe all what was just mentioned. There's a lot of fake news around. about me. But no, it's a great pleasure to be here and to contribute to this discussion. And I wanted to build on what Assaad just mentioned about the importance of collaboration. And I wanted to look at this from a different angle, from the angle of physical space. So what type of places do we need to be creative? You know, can we just start working globally, virtually, as a network, from connecting from different places, a bit like we've been doing during the pandemic? Or do we need physical places? And you know, it's a very important question. For instance, if you think about the new European Bauhaus initiative or other similar initiatives that are, you know, in the past were always anchored in a physical space. And so I just want to share with you some of the research we are doing at MIT. I'll share my screen in just a second. Here. Oops. So, and I titled it, you know, Creative Workplace. It's really the follow-up to what we just heard. So we heard about, you know, how we can come together and collaborate, but, you know, what do we need as physical space? And there's two questions here. The first one is, you know, how will the office change post-COVID? That's a question that's on everybody's mind. Are we going to continue living primarily with digital interaction? And then how can space itself make us more creative? And so let's try to find out using data. Let's try to find out by measuring actually what is going on. And I want to share with you our experience at MIT. So this, I want to start from a few years ago, and then I'll show you the latest data in a moment. So this is actually a, sorry, this is actually an op-ed I did in the Harvard Business Review a few years ago. And the point, you know, the title they gave was, if work is digital, why do we still go to the office? This was before the pandemic, but actually my point was that there's still very important reasons for going to an office, and that's to be more creative, to meet other people, to come up with new ideas. And if we stay on our own and connect digitally, some of that doesn't happen. But in order to look at that question, I want to take you back a little bit and explore, you know, the modern city. So if you look at this, this is Le Corbusier, one of the most known architects of the 20th century. And in the 1930s, together with a group called Siam, you know, he started theorizing about the modern city. And one of the things, for instance, that he writes in the Charte d'Athènes, in the Athens Charter, is that the 4 keys to urban planning are the 4 functions of the city: dwelling, work, recreation, and transportation. And the point at the time was that everything in a city had to be different and separate. So if you look at that to the left, you see the kind of the modernist city with different districts for different things. Well, then we realized over time that that was not a very effective way of using space. If you do this, you got entire neighborhoods which are empty most of the day or most of the night. And so since the 1950s and 60s, many people, including Jane Jacobs in the United States, started thinking about, you know, mixed-use cities, where there's a bit of everything together. But it looks like today that is changing. It's changing because of digital. It's allowing us to use the same spaces for different functions. Something that could redefine the transition between private and public space and the very structure of the buildings we have. So, as I mentioned at the beginning, let's try to look at data to understand what is going on. And I want to share with you the experience of the MIT campus. Now, the MIT campus is what you see there in the middle. This is a Boston. This is an aerial image of the Boston area. You see Boston downtown, MIT, Harvard to the left. You know, the upper part is so-called Cambridge, as part of the Boston metropolitan area. I'm sorry it looks so bad in this picture. It's a very green city, but this was this is a winter picture, so it looks like, you know, almost like it was a nuclear explosion. But anyway, so the MIT campus is almost like a small city inside the city. And interesting is that it's a community that's been always very keen on engaging with new technologies. For instance, Wi-Fi has been used. It was the first campus in the world to be totally covered by Wi-Fi in the early 2000s. And so we started looking at many of the changes happening in the way people come together and work. So before, people used to work like there, what you see to the left. And then, you know, today we tend to work like what you see to the right. Now, That's a bit extreme. To the left is the most depressing computer room I could find from a couple of decades ago. To the right is a beautiful sunny day. I need to tell you, during the winter when it's -20 Celsius, it's not that fun. But you know, it gives you a sense of the big changes that we are seeing all over the world. We used to work like this, and now we tend to work like this. And the key change is really creating spaces more for collaboration. So we started saying, well, technology is changing the way we're working, so why don't we use technology and networks to measure these changes? And so we started using really all the information happening on the network. You see here, all the dots are, in this case, you know, all the access points where we can actually monitor activity. And so we can actually look at, in this case, for instance, people, how people move in the course of the day. The bubble, the size of the bubble is the amount of people you have in every place. Today is at the room level. In the future, you could imagine like what's happening already in China with more sensing. This is almost every square foot in your building, you know, how it's being used by different communities. And by the way, this that you can do with, you know, based on mobile phone, based on other type of signal, is obviously something I just, in a more popular article that we did on this, but something's changing a lot our knowledge of architecture. Ildefonso Cerdà, who's the father of modern Barcelona, in a great, you know, in the great theory of urbanization he wrote in the second part of the 19th century, he was kind of dreaming about a day when, through data, we would be able to describe life in a scientific way inside cities and inside buildings. So that's an old dream of architecture, which is finally becoming possible. And for instance, if you look at the overall activity on the MIT campus, it looks like this. That's almost the heartbeat of the campus. So you see, you got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They all look pretty much the same. People get into campus around 9 a.m. Some people leaving at 5 p.m., but most people keep working till late at night. And even in the middle of the night, you've got a lot of activity. And on Friday, things are a bit different. Activity slips away quickly in the afternoon. And actually, Saturday and Sunday are almost like normal days if you remove the 9 to 5 people, with something quite fun every Sunday night. You got a little dent, as you see there. And, you know, that's when people say, oh my God, tomorrow is Monday again. And they go, you know, to finish, they try to finish all what they haven't finished before the beginning of the new week. So you can do this, as I said, you can do this at the scale of the resolution of every room. What you see here is every signature, so every space, you know how it's been used. And then you can analyze this kind of the space of big data. You can analyze it in different ways. And what we are seeing is actually that our campus is becoming a little bit like what we saw in the initial map. Probably this map a few decades ago would have had very different colors, very separated. But today, more and more is a place of encounter where the same space is used for different activities in the course of the day. And the interesting thing is that here you see how people come together, but then you can also look at what people do. You know, in a research center at the university, a lot of the invention, creativity, innovation, you can look at that through the lens of patents or papers. So that becomes, you know, one of the metrics you can use. And then also how different communities come together. Exactly the point was made before. You see that the places with most patents are usually the places where you got diverse community converging and meeting in the same place. So that's some of the research we have been doing until last year, just before COVID, and really looking at the user space and space that becomes more and more flexible thanks to technology and allow us to encounter, be creative, and work together. But then, as we all know, COVID happened. And so the key question here is, over the past 12 months, we've been working a different way. Is this sustainable? Is this going to sustain creativity in the long term? Or, you know, do we need to go back to physical space? And that's a very important question, because if you want to do some initiatives related to what we're discussing today, then, you know, we need to understand if we need to have this kind of shared environment where actually creativity happens. It can be shared environment like in the past, if you think about the great schools, as we mentioned, about Bauhaus in the past century, and many other similar institutions, or if you can do it in a network way across the planet. Or there's intermediate scale, maybe the scale of the city where you've got a district. We heard it just before, a district, a neighborhood where some of this happens. So again, we started looking at data. And the interesting thing is that we were monitoring in a totally anonymized way at MIT with the overall activity on campus through the lens of all the email exchanges on campus. Again, totally anonymized, but this gives you a network of how people connect with other people. And then you got the COVID lockdown, which if you look at it from the sociologist, with the sociologist hat, you know, you could consider it almost like the most ambitious experiment you could have to look at the impact of physical space. Because we took physical space and discontinued that variable from one day to the next. Usually you can never do that as an experiment if you're a sociologist or an economist, but here COVID caused the discontinuity so we could look at what happened in the way we communicate with other people, in the way we are creative. And so we started using, as I mentioned, this kind of email network collected in real time from the campus to see how communication changed before COVID and after COVID. By the way, if you want to look at this, this is just a timeline last year. You see, for instance, 2 times just before and after the closing announcement, but we kept on monitoring this all the way until today. So we collected data before closing the campus and all the way until today. And then again, the question, if we remove physical space, if we don't work together on the same campus, does it have an impact on how creative we are? Or does it change at all? So can we, in the future, think about a creative place happening, as I mentioned, in a totally distributed way? And so we started plotting some of this. So this was the network before the COVID emergency. You see here, that's the communication among all the people on the MIT campus. You see the different schools, engineering, science, humanities, management and economics, and architecture and planning. And you can analyze them in different ways. You can use network science to define clusters. No surprise that some of these clusters really mirror the key schools we were saying before. But then you can look at, after the lockdown, the network just visually looks quite different. So just by plotting it, this is not yet any analytics, it's just looking at the data, you see that something has happened. And then, you see it here, and you see this is actually was still last year, but you see some changes. So we started trying to understand what has happened. And we looked at many dimensions didn't change, but there's one key dimension that actually started changing. And that's related to weak ties and strong ties. Well, weak ties and strong ties are very related to creativity, and they go down to a paper, a famous paper by Mark Granovetter. You see it here, published in 1973. And the paper is called The Strength of Weak Ties, claiming that weak ties, again, are very important for receiving and accessing new information. Let me tell you first a basic definition. That's only a definition. What's a weak tie? What's a strong tie? Well, think about all your friends. And so you got, for instance, you know person A and you know person B. A and B maybe know each other. Then you call that a strong tie. Like in blue here, if you plot it, it always creates a triangle. So you know you're here, you know this person and this person. They also know each other, and so you got a triangle. Then weak ties are usually people you might interact with quite a lot, but they're not friends of your friends. And usually then they become bridges to another community. That's simply a definition. Now, the interesting finding that Granovetter first noticed, but then many others studied, is that usually with strong ties, we tend to keep on repeating each other the same story. They easily become groups of strong ties, they easily become what today we call echo chambers, where information keeps bouncing from one person to the other, but without too much openness to new ideas and creativity. And a lot of creativity, there's a huge literature, really comes through weak ties. Weak ties open up to a new way of seeing the world, to a new community, to a new way of doing things, a lot of the things we're discussing today. So we started analyzing all of the data in terms of weak ties. I say some things didn't change, but when you look at this through different angles, then the important thing is that it looks like that when you move totally onto virtual space, then, you know, weak ties can kind of not disappear, but here you see the rate of new weak ties appearing, so are not formed anymore. So yes, you know, we can survive before because we got the strength of our social networks that were built before the pandemic. But if we continue in this way, we're little by little destroying a very important part of our connections. And that part seems to be the one that, that makes them more creative, the one that connects us to people who are, you know, again, who open us to new ideas, to new worlds, to new communities, and to new ways of seeing the world. What you see here is you know, the number of new weak ties. And by the way, what is the dotted line is the 23rd of March 2020, a little over a year ago exactly, is a mixture before the day when MIT went totally virtual. But you know, even in the weeks, 3-4 weeks before that, you know, the campus wasn't used, started, you know, not being used anymore. And look at, you know, how quickly you see that that kind of evaporation of in the reduction in the creation of weak ties, with such a huge difference, you know, going from 250 per day to something like more like 50 per day. And if you, there's another way to look at this. If you look at this as another way to plot the whole MIT network, imagine this sort of brain with all the people connected with each other. And what you see here is, you know, from the 20th of February 2020, and then you got 30th of April, June 25th, September 24th, 26th, and 25th. And if you look at this, it's almost like in a brain that's shrinking. That's where a lot of the important links are being little by little depleted. And again, at the beginning, you don't notice it that much. At the beginning, we still had the strength of what we had built in physical space before the pandemic. But then that little by little starts dissipating. So the point I wanted to make with this is, and this is just, again, in an article, in a recent article, not a scientific article, but a newspaper article in Le Monde, is that, you know, we probably need to go back to physical space. Physical space is a space where we produce. Physical space is a space where it can be artisans, digital artisans. Physical space, the space of the city, the space of a new Bauhaus, the space, you know, of a university campus, is really where what we need to be creative. Now, it doesn't mean we need to go back there every day like before. Certainly, we're going to see changes. Certainly, you know, we're going to want to continue with much more flexibility in our lives, like we've done over the past 12 months. You know, the fact, the pleasure of spending a few more days in a different city, in the countryside, in the mountain, working remotely. But still, it looks like physical interaction is where those unexpected connections happen. You know, anecdotally, we all know it. You know, we are, it's easy to schedule a Zoom call or a Skype call or a Teams call and to meet other people. But those serendipitous encounters, the one you have next to the coffee machine, the one you have in your office, you bump into a different person, and then that bump turns into a bump between different ideas or new ideas, is a key part of how we can work together and be creative. So that was my 5 cents. What I wanted to share with you, by the way, is still work in progress. We are about to publish it scientifically, but I want to share it because I think there's a big question behind all of what we're discussing here is, if you want to promote this economy, you know, how do we do it? We also need to organize it in space, at which scale, the scale of the city, the neighborhood of, you know, new type of institutions. And so it looks like, at least, that we cannot be totally virtual, and we still need to anchor creativity into our space. Now, I'll finish here, and but I'd love to really have a conversation with all of you through the chat now or in any other way about, you know, to see what you think and talk about this.
Thank you very much for this very insightful perspective that I think not everyone considered during all this period. It was very interesting. And yes, we invite our guests, our viewers, to have this chat with you. Take advantage. And of course, if we do not receive, Sorry.
Yeah, comments, or if you agree or disagree, but I think it seems to me the reason I decided to focus on this, I could, instead of focusing on some of our projects, some of the projects we're doing at MIT or in our office, design office, but I decided to focus on this because it seems to me that especially what we're discussing today is going to have very important consequences at the European level. And so understanding some of these dynamics might help us, really make the right decisions, especially again in the light of initiatives such as the new academic Bauhaus. I see some Q&A. Miss indeed the coffee machine talk in the studio very much. Tirza, yes, thanks for mentioning that. We all anecdotally thought about this, but then the data seems to support that is not only something that we all miss as a good to have thing, but it's really a must have because it's key to that generation of ideas. It doesn't need to be just a coffee machine talk. It's really about all the physical interactions we have in space.
Okay. I see we still remained a little bit shy in this online interaction today. I strongly invite our viewers to just talk with us.
Maybe meanwhile, I will add another quick point that came to mind. This is certainly about the space of, say, the office, or the space where we can come together and develop new ideas, but also it's about the space of the city. And the space of the city, is again the space that can allow us to escape from echo chambers and polarization. We see that digitally, when people only connect in digital space, then tend to drift towards polarization, extremism. We've seen it in the past elections in the United States. Again, an antidote to that is physical space, also public space in the city, where we need to confront each other and get out of our preconceptions. So somehow this applies to not only to the space where we work, but more generally to physical space where we interact.
I see another question. Do you think that creative industries can lead European GDP in the next 20 years?
Yeah, I certainly think so. I know I've had this discussion a lot with my colleague Rich Florida. As you know, Richard Florida was probably the first one to give a name to the creative class and to study it initially in the rise of the creative class now, 15, 20 years ago. So I think they're already a crucial component of our economy. It seems to me that through automation, we are going to outsource to machine many aspects of our society. And really one of the few things that remains to us, and one of the most fun things, is what we're discussing today. Creativity, which I would call, however, creativity au sens large. So at large, in a larger sense, that touches upon many different aspects of society. So the answer, I would say, yes.
Thank you.
I'm seeing also another question that I hear from, I see here another message from a journalist. Just a second, I saw it here from Elena. Oops, I lost it for a moment.
Maybe someone from DAG can help us with the social networks questions, because as you know, we are live now on YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, we have a question from another journalist saying that, as a professor of one of the main innovation centers in the world, which do you think that will be the leading technology who will transform fashion and interior design?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, certainly some of what we heard before today, is going to be important. We now all use digital tools, to cut or to add, to remove material, working by subtraction, like laser cutters, as we saw before, or to add material, like different type of printers. But I would say that perhaps what is going to be most interesting in the next few years is actually the digital capability to put all of that together. So when we need to do something complex, well, you might have something 3D printed, you might have something laser cut, you might have other aspects in what are called digital twins. So a digital copy of the object is what is going to help us more and more to combine everything together. We are seeing this, here the reference is interior design, and so we're seeing this a lot in our design work in homes. When somehow the digital twin allows us to combine together and bring together all the technologies that we've been experimenting with in the past few years. And so we'll never be able to fully 3D print a whole interior, or to do it with laser cuts. But what we can do is actually combine all the different elements that magically come together and fit like a puzzle and create. So I would say is the platform to combine all the different technology. Let's say a digital twin.
Thank you very much for all your very insightful, even if I repeat myself, very insightful comments and the speech and the perspective. I would like to.
I see, by the way, I see another, because I see a few things, I mean, if you don't mind, I will just answer this very briefly and then
Perfect.
But I see another one, which is, do you think digital twin would also work from garments and fashion items? I would say so, especially if you go something where different components need to come together. And digital twin, if you want the most complicated systems such as aircrafts and so on, I've been using them now for a few years in order to combine all the different parts. Probably if you are thinking about just one material, even if it is produced digitally, again, leather with a cut with a laser cutter or similar, you wouldn't need it. But as soon as you get something which is more intricate, then certainly can have a big benefit. And before, I saw a comment before referring to Neri Oxman, who's a colleague and friend at MIT and works again at the convergence of new materials, biology, design, and fashion. And certainly Neri's work or similar type of approach to creativity would benefit a lot from using a digital twin to put together all the different elements.
Thank you. I think you had a small addition to this question referring to in 3D Knit.
In 3D Knit as well. Again, if you digital twin is how you can combine different elements. So in 3D Knit, it depends if it is only one single material. Maybe it's only a matter of 3D printing. But the platform that allows us to combine different components, that certainly is what can benefit from a single management system, from a digital twin.
Thank you very much. So I strongly invite the viewers to contact you through the social networks, or even to contact us as the Worth team to forward you the questions if there are more questions, as we are a little bit delayed in our schedule. I would like to thank you for joining us today, and thank you for your presentation, Carlo.
Thanks, everybody.
And now it's time for us to conclude the first part of today's special adventure. So we are welcoming you to our a bit delayed first live showcasing virtual tour. And it starts now. It should have started a bit before, but it starts now. So we're very excited to start this phase of our experience today. And also would like to invite you to the second one at 3 p.m. Do not miss them. Now I give the stage to my colleague Sigrid. Welcome.
Thank you, Simona. I hope all of you can hear me well, right? So thank you, Simona, and everyone for staying with us in the second part of this morning program. My name is Sigrid Montiel, a member of the Worth implementing team. I'm happy to host the first session of presentations of the projects addressing the circular economy and resources efficiencies challenge, from the ideation to redesign of the production processes while raising consumers' awareness. For the exhibitors, know that you will have 5 minutes to show your project results. In this session, 9 projects are now ready to present. I will prompt you through the chat when time runs out. For the visitors, know that a general 15 minutes Q&A time slot will be available upon the 9 presentation for general inquiries and direct interactions with the exhibitor. We are also pleased to have journalists among the attendees. Thank you for joining us today. With nothing else to introduce from my side, join me in welcoming the project's Be Circular Urban Outdoor Fabric.
Now you should hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. Yeah, I will try to share my screen. One moment. You should see it now. Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes.
We can see and hear you well. Go ahead.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be the first. We are Freisein. We create radical natural outdoor wear. And we asked ourselves the question, why do people who love to be outdoors wear clothes which last for years, or if we care for them, perhaps centuries, but afterwards harm the planet for hundreds of years? The problem nowadays is the linear economy. We take materials, we make products, and after a short time we throw them away. Nowadays, more than 60% of all clothes produced are made out of synthetics. And synthetics leads to a lot of problems. And one of them is microfibers, which gets washed to the sea. And actually 35% of all microfibers in the ocean is due to the washing of clothing. And that's a real problem. What we did, we said, okay, let's try our radical natural approach. And we want to make circular and durable hydrophobic high density fabrics. And as the starting point, we used discarded virgin natural materials, and we created a bicircular double weave. And here you see a picture. It's a densely woven double layered fabric, which is 100% compostable and long lasting. And we thought about the concept of circularity and came up with the concept of bicircular. And bicircular means, on the one hand, it's inspired by the cradle-to-cradle philosophy, and means that on the one hand, out of textiles can be textiles again in a closed loop. And should this not be possible anymore, then it's compostable, building nutrients for the soil. You can see here some pictures, and we especially thought about, like, why do all the people who go outside in nature wear such clothes? And therefore, our challenge is also to make those fabrics water repellent and breathe. You can see here also a picture that it's already working. We have some TRL level 6 prototype right now and already made a jacket out of it. At the moment, it's undyed, but the water repellency is working, and it's 100% natural, compostable, and bicircular. And my team consists of myself. I'm CEO and designer, and in the last 15 years I already founded a company which products get sold million-wise on the German market. I'm supported by Dr. Barnaby Caven. He has 15 years of experience in the textile field, and he's responsible for the patents and for research and development. Then I'm supported by Lea Baumschlager. She's responsible for fashion and technology, design and prototyping, and Sonja Gstettner, who is art director and responsible for graphic design. As you can see, we already got some momentum. We have been part of the Gründungsgarage, for example, and also got funded by national funding agencies and also European funding agencies. And currently we are evaluating to also apply at the European Innovation Council to make this innovation possible. And something which is so interesting about the EEC is that they support like high risk innovations which has a high potential. And our aim as a team is to really disrupt synthetics with radically natural bicircular performance fabrics. Thanks for your attention, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you, Jan, for your presentation. So as stated in the introduction, so we will go through the 9 project presentations, and we will dedicate a general Q&A time slot at the end.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the attention.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now it's time for the presentation of the project Alka Disruptive Rugs. Alka, welcome. So you have 5 minutes for your presentation.
Hello everyone, I'm sharing my screen. So hi, I'm Isaiah, and we are with my partner Hamdi Generer, who is a rug expert, and I'm myself, I'm an illustrator and designer. So we're very happy for being here presenting this project. Mainly we make rugs, but not just rugs. We want to say that we make unique pieces from an original concept and aesthetics. As you already know, our SEAMs are filled with tons of plastic waste. So plastic waste management is critical for reducing diseases that threaten the ecosystem's health and human livelihoods. So this complex situation was the final push to undertake this adventure, where a recycled polymeric fiber will be the seed to grow our white canvas. I would like to introduce you our first capsule, Morning Meditation. So our pieces are woven in a single recycled monomaterial. This spinning is obtained from the recycling of tons of post-consumer plastic waste. In addition to being recycled, being a monomaterial product means that its recycling is really feasible, reinserting itself in the consumption chain. By digitally printing our rugs, we reduce water consumption by 10 times compared to traditional production process. So we are eliminating the dyeing process of the spinning, which is very polluting, and also it helps us to expand the possibilities, graphic possibilities, to infinity. The way to buy one of our rugs is on demand. Thus, we avoid overproduction and overstocking as a zero waste system. So we live virtual times, for example, this event, and in the challenging situation of not being able to show our products physically, we will try to get closer to them, telling you a little bit more of how it looks. I hope that in some way you could feel them. So about the hand feel, maybe you may think that because it's woven from post-consumer plastic, its appearance, even its touch, may not be pleasant, but we invite you to change this perception. Our rugs are soft and warm to the touch. It could look like a natural fiber, like cotton. The high quality recycled polyester allows the rugs to be used outdoors as well. Our pieces are certified in terms of color fastness, and they are reversible. Digital printing not only has a relevant impact on saving water, but also provides this advantage. And yeah, we want to really want to grow from co-creation. This started from the need to create and to express ourselves and our interests, maybe the same as your projects, and collaboration with designers, artists, illustrators, biomaterial innovators, photographers, and so on, make the project meaningful. And also, one advantage of this is that thanks to our process, we can develop special needs for clients, B2B professionals, and also we can produce pieces that suit your projects, your ideas, your necessities. And yeah, I would like to end here with this open question for you. How is your dream rug? And here is our newborn Instagram account, where you can explore more if you feel curious. I hope you are. And we will be very happy to keep in touch with you and hopefully make any synergy happen. So thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Alka, for the presentation. So now I invite the project Zero Barracento to present her project idea.
Hi, everyone. I think you can now see my slides.
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. So, hi everyone, I'm Camilla Carrara, CEO and founder of Zero Barracento. Our claim is reshaping values from 0 to 100. So, do you have an idea of how much do our clothes cost to people and planet? This is the production of jeans, so the clothes we all are wearing. This is just a small portion of the waste that is daily produced by the fashion industry. And these two children were looking for their parents after the collapse of the Rana Plaza 8 years ago. So at 0%, we are totally not aligned with this kind of production and supply chain. We are a made in Italy zero waste outerwear brand, and we offer outside of gender, age and time pieces. So our vision is to create a safe space within the clothing for all ages and genders while building a zero waste supply chain. So we produce gender and age fluid distinctive pieces thanks to a unique design that avoids the waste of materials, and we produce everything in a totally transparent and traceable supply chain in Italy. For Worth, we have been working with Renoon, a startup founded in 2020 in Amsterdam that empowers consumers to realize their sustainable lifestyle and values when shopping fashion by combining the offering from multiple websites at once and assessing sustainability at the product level. So we started from these data, so the idea that the searches for sustainability are growing day by day. On the other side, even if production of clothes is growing, just a little part of clothes are then recycled. Moreover, with COVID, let's say, these are trends. So investment pieces, cautious consumption, timeless quality, and responsibility are growing day by day. So during Worth, we have been working to redefine the identity and the values of the brand and to launch it online. So creating the e-commerce and building a strategy for the communication. So our zero waste DNA is built on 4 pillars. So GRS certified recycled materials are our preference. So we use compostable packaging. We are building a take back service, and we are focusing on zero waste pattern making. So with conventional manufacturing, at least 15% of textiles go wasted in the production process of fashion clothes. With the zero waste pattern making technique, we are able to reduce the waste to zero and use the full width of the fabric by creating a kind of a puzzle with the pieces that are involved in our pieces. So these are our lines. And this was the Spring Summer Collection 2021 created during Worth. So our unique selling point is given by a creativity that is for sure made in Italy, but is really built on the aesthetic of Japanese kimono and a full supply chain transparency. So we want to offer our pieces to design connoisseurs that want to fall in love with our pieces without restriction in terms of age and gender. All our supply chain is in Italy, so we do internally the sourcing and the design and the prototyping, and then we work with premium producers to create our pieces. We have our own e-commerce, and we are present in several multi-brand platforms, and we truly think that our best commercial strategy is built on B2C events, social media, and multi-brand stores. So during the years, we got several awards, and primarily we built amazing partnerships that allowed us to make some strategic steps forward. And we have been invited in presenting in key events. So these are my contacts in case you want to hear more about our project. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Camila. Also, we encourage all the attendees to leave your questions in the chat. We will get through your questions at the end of the virtual tour. I invite the project Modifiable Vegan Bike Collection to present their results.
Hello, my name is Xenia. I'm a designer of this project. My partner is an Italian manufacturer. I made a little video to show you, to showcase you our project. So I will share the screen. Do you see it?
Yes, we can see your presentation.
Okay, so I will start the video.
Yeah. We cannot hear the video. I can watch it, but sounds is off.
Ah. So yes, this project came as a response to some of the challenges we're facing today: pollution, overconsumption, waste, and digitalization, mass production. Fashion and leather industry are some of the most polluting industries in the world, and we're addressing this challenge by creating products made of sustainable and circular materials, like vegan leather made of apple industry waste and upcycled ocean plastics, recycled paper and card for our packaging. Additionally, there has been 600% increase in people adopting veganism over the past 3 years. And so we are addressing this need for vegan fashion goods by using exclusively vegan materials. In response to the problem of waste and overconsumption, I designed bags that can be forever styled and restyled, and thus removing the need to buy new products, and also bringing back the fun of creativity and imagination. In response to the challenge of digitalization, our collection is handcrafted, bringing back the charm and warmth of the loving hand touch. Bags are laser cut with holes all throughout and then hand stitched. They're constructed as one piece and thus reducing production waste. And by hand stitching, we are able to fulfill on-demand orders and customized orders as well. So this is our project. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation. So now we invite the project Lilo to tell her story.
Sorry about the inconveniences. Are you seeing the screen now?
Yes.
Yes, I just simply wanted to share an image just to give a little bit more context. I've been having a little bit of technical issues with my computer, so I'm going from my phone. This Lilo is born from a concept idea that explores the scope of chain, its function, and its symbolism and construction through adaptable design, essentially in a sustainable context. We develop interchangeable connector links that for multiple combinations of chain and just juxtapose a variety of materials and techniques. These connectors can be reused in the context of jewelry, and we aim to maximize the use of each of the components, adapting to variable needs of the users, ensuring that the product is circulated in its most valuable form for as long as possible. This jewelry format, in this jewelry format, the chains can simplify, amplify, and optimize, segmentally optimize, and the customer can fully customize them. So it is quite flexible. They can also progressively upgrade them and collect them if they want, and exchange them between the users if needed, in case they want to share it as a gift or simply share it as just trying to reuse the connectors in different contexts for different purposes. So it's more like a collaborative, co-working, co-creation environment that I want to portray and offer to the user. This overall project is driven by circular design and resource efficiency. And the material focus has been on emerald byproducts, and this is how Lilo was born. We use the resulting grit from emerald mining, and we recover and process this material to obtain emerald stone from mine debris that will otherwise end up overlooked and discarded. We transform it through the connectors. In this case, Lilo embodies the process. This is a connector that was developed over the World Partnership Framework. And these are, like in the image, you see the ways in which Lilo can be used along with the other connectors. And then maybe I can share this other picture to give a little bit of context. Which is just the way in which things can be assembled, but they are simple, separate components that can be put together in different forms for different purposes. Essentially, Lilo is part of a big family of connectors that can be used to create jewelry. but there are others that can be, as I said before, exchange, change, and replace, if you call it, to build different structures of jewelry. So yeah, that's essentially all from me. And if you have any questions, let me know. In my Instagram profile, there is the full information about it on my website, and contact details if you need further information. And the Instagram is Maria's Design. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing the story of Lilo with the community. Again, I encourage all the attendees to leave the questions in the chat, and we can open the debate at the end of the presentations. So now I invite the project Alma to present her project results.
Hello, my name is Adina Orboy. I am the head of design of Osier Studio. And first of all, thank you for the opportunity. And I'm going to share my screen in a second. Everything is good? Everybody can see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, then I'll start. This is our team from Osier. Teresa is our founder, and I'm the head of design. This is our partner from Italy, our manufacturer. Our brand focus mainly on sustainability, transparency, and quality. We are based in Amsterdam, hand manufacturer in Bucharest. We are always trying to find new methods to go through innovation and sustainability, from designing, manufacturing our atelier until packaging. We are using apple leather. We are making sustainable, luxurious apple leather bags. Our design is created in such a way that our bags can be worn through generations. So we always take in account how timeless the design is. Of course, ethical and sustainable. Our mission is to provide the industry with sustainable material with high technology content, composed up to 50% of recovering waste. And here, our new journey, Alma start. You can see here the difference between animal leather and apple leather in CO emission, water, and soil. Of course, there are many other elements involved, as the quality of the workers or the disease that they can develop from the chemicals that are involving the process of the animal leather. The process of our apple leather, basically we took the apples that are not aesthetic enough, nor not beautiful enough to put in the supermarkets. Then they made juice or jam out of them. Then from the peel is dried, then it's turned into a powder. And then this powder combined with the PU, which is polyuterine, it's put on a sheet of material, usually recycled cotton. And here our innovation start, because usually in the PU you need oil. So basically before we use petroleum, but now we develop a new material that use algae, the oil from the algae. So our goal for this project is focusing on the development of greener, high-performance material to even further improve the ecological footprint of the apple skin material. We strive to replace the polyuterine, or in short, the PU, with a bio-based oil derived from algae. Here is where our project Alma starts, using biotechnology to harness the power of nature. We will create a process revolving around fermenting algae to produce a novel bio-based oil for use in material in the fashion industry and in, of course, other applications. Fermentation in containers creates oil, so the space it's way less. The algae captivates the CO2 from the air, processes savings emission, and the result is similar to the PU, can be used for the textile. This is a bit of our creative process, and these are our bags with the old material, with just the simple apple leather. And this is the new material that you can see it's very flexible and it reacts the same as our old apple material, but this one is the one with the algae oil. The texture and everything and the flexibility. So this was our project. Thank you for watching, and if you have questions.
Thank you for the presentation of the project Alma. Now I invite the project Make Your Bed to show their results.
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity of presenting Make Your Bed to all the other projects and the participants invited. So I'm here today. I'm Dalia. I'm presenting Make Your Bed team, and I will share my screen. As I was saying, we are very grateful for this opportunity of sharing Make Your Bed project. Make Your Bed project comes from the idea of inviting people to be participants of a new way of doing fashion, and because of the raw materials that we have been using. Map collection is as we used to let's say name our project. It's a transnational project involving Svelana from Empty Your Wardrobe based in Denmark, Marta from Wild in Spain, and me, Dalia Rodriguez. Make Your Bed is a pilot project that aims to, based on the pillars of circular economy, the values of traditional craftsmanship, and also the idea of reusing materials to provide a new solution and a new way of understanding fashion. Also by raising awareness and promoting the participation and involvement of people. Through Make Your Bed projects, we have been applying, as I said previously, circular economy principles, zero waste design, craftsmanship and artisan manufacturing and techniques, and also promoting participation and developing strategic partnerships in order to develop a capsule collection that will be a pilot experience of circular fashion. Capsule collection that has been based in concrete references that we researched. We made a research at the beginning of the project that has been using the principles of developing a capsule collection that will use essential garments that will be multifunctional, given a personal style, reusing a specific raw material that is, we used to say, not loved anymore, a raw material that is bed linen, sheets, and home clothing, following the main fashion trends and especially respecting sustainability. We use artisan techniques, traditional dressmaking techniques, natural dyeing techniques, especially made by, developed by Marta from Spain, and zero waste pattern design and cutting. The result has been that through this year, our idea of organizing swap events and developing strategic partnerships in order to, let's say, to find these materials and raw materials that have been are commonly, let's say, discarded, like bed linen sheets. It has been a little bit difficult because our main idea was to focus on inviting people to be part of this project. And especially with COVID, it was very difficult to organize so markets and these kind of events that were planned from the beginning. MTG World made a very good job. They achieved, they organized a specific, very short swap markets, following, of course, the restrictions proposed by the local governments, but also to create a swap spot where people can bring their materials. And in order to complement this idea of involving people, we developed strategic partnerships with companies, making bed lining and home clothing in order to reuse all the discarded fabrics from the company. With these materials already sources, Marta from Madrid applied all the natural fabrics, applied natural dyeing techniques, and all these amazing heritage she has been working on during her career as an artisan. And with these materials, we jointly developed a concept of capsule collection. We following the design, several waste designs and the most traditional techniques of manufacturing, we developed this capsule collection that you can see. Is something that is, let's say, multifunctional, is also timeless, is a style. We try to make it stylish, and especially, proposing a new way of doing fashion, a circular fashion. You can find more information of the project of course, at the World Partnership Project page, and also in Instagram. You can find here our information. And we would like also to thank the World Partnership Project, because it gave us the opportunity to join 3 people with a big concern for fashion, for the impact of fashion in our planet, to bring their ideas in a common project. And thanks to the opportunity, the resources, and the mentoring support we received during the year, we achieved this idea, pilot experience of bringing a capsule collection based on circular fashion. So thank you. I'm available, my colleagues as well. Information of the project, of course, at the World Partnership Project page, and also in Instagram. You can find here our information. And we would like also to thank the World Partnership Project, because it gave us the opportunity to join 3 people with a big concern for fashion, for the impact of fashion in our planet, to bring their ideas in a common project. And thanks to the opportunity, the resources, and the mentoring support we received during the year, we achieved this idea, pilot experience of bringing a capsule collection based on circular fashion. So thank you. I'm available, my colleagues as well, in order to reply to any question you might have. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for sharing the results and your experience. So I invite the project Maritech to share the results of the project. Aurora?
Hi,
you
can
ready?
you hear me? Yeah,
yes,
I'm here.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Now I share my screen. Share. Is it okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay, great. So hi everybody, I'm Aurore Piet. So I'm the craftswoman of the sea and also founder of Aurore Piet Studio. Sorry. Why can't... Oh, yeah. So with my practice, I'm focused on discarded sedimentary materials from the French Atlantic coast, and their natural materials are naturally created in the water, but through the tides, they reach the seashore. But there, because of human activities on the coast, they are collected and thrown offshore. So as a designer, I wanted to see those available material as a raw natural resources to work on. Thus, with Aurore Studio, I've been developing techniques in to revalue ocean matter in order to develop several applications for those materials, including product design with ceramic and furniture pieces, and architecture applications with tiles and wall coatings. By co-working with craftsmen and engineers, I've been creating my own practice, the craftsmanship of the sea. Inspired by craft and nature, I've been developing sustainable design and contemporary craft. From my practice, I've been redefining the notion of making, and I was wondering what craft would look like in a close future. Thus, I've been intrigued by the meeting of the rawness of the ocean matter that I'm working with, and the potential of advanced technology, 3D printing. This is why I've been working with the Mines Engineering School in Albi, France, and working on conclusive tests. And then I realized that 3D printing enabled me to work on innovative shapes, but also to rationalize the amount of material that I was working with. Aware of the current material crisis in architecture fields, I wanted to propose a solution, and this is how Maretech is born. So Maretech project revalues natural discarded materials from the Atlantic Ocean in design and architecture fields by using the emerging technology of 3D printing. Maretech proposes here innovative vision of future, craft and architecture by combining two innovations in one project. The two innovations are to revalue raw natural materials, but also to work on advanced technology, 3D printing. Thus, Maretech team embodies that complementarity. In Worth Project's frame, we have been developing in collaboration with Gianluca Pugliese, who is a 3D printing expert working in Laupoli, WASP Hub in Madrid, Roberto Naboni, experimental architect from SDU Create, Southern Denmark University, and myself from Orpiet Studio, sustainable designer and material expert in France. Together, we bond our complementary skills and knowledge in a common goal, 3D printing, sustainable 3D architecture from natural revalued matter. With Maretech project, we propose to offer modular architectural elements that are 100% made from ocean matter. That architectural elements that can be combined in order to create adaptable interior wall for indoor separation. Working with 3D printing, the technique enabled us to develop innovative shapes, and so to propose perforated shapes in order to let the light go through the pieces, and so to reduce the use of artificial light in order to follow sustainable vision of Maretech. Also, 3D printing enables us to develop sustainable fabrication, since 3D printing is a zero-waste process. Here we aim to revalue and rationalize the natural amount of natural resources. Thus, by choosing organic design, Maretech pays tribute to the ocean. Here, the ocean is the origin of the material, but also our first co-worker. Thanks to Maretech's sustainable approach, I've been rewarded by the British Council and Dutch Design Week as Sustainable Maker 2020. And in the future, we aim to develop social and local implementation of the project Maretech in the project-based area. We also aim to present Maretech as a model for local fabrication and develop new localization in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you, Aurora, for your presentation. Now I invite the partner Simone for the project Minois to show her results.
Really sorry, multitasking. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'll just share my presentation. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see the screen. Yeah.
Sorry, I cannot share this. Well, handbag has been designed centuries ago, and since then, it was designed in a different era where women had a different position in the society. And since then, a lot of things have changed. Women move differently through their environment. They put different things inside their bag. And the current handbag experience is not great. Actually, the most famous handbag is the Birkin bag, and Jane Birkin, who is the Birkin bag is named after her. She says it busts your arm and they're bloody heavy. So it is a very good product to improve and bring to the 21st century. So women also put different things in their bag, especially the digital devices. Didn't used to be there, and all those devices need to be charged as well. So there's been research before that says that women spent 75 days of their lives searching for something inside their handbag. I was very intrigued by this, and I also did some more research into this. I had a little trick of asking women for a pen, if they could borrow me a pen, and they were diving in their handbag and trying to find things in their bag. And in the meantime, I could study them and ask them questions. So this was very insightful. I concluded the following. Finding stuff inside your bag is difficult. The content is not very well visible. And it's also not easy to open the bag while you're carrying it. And women just in general carry way too much stuff in their handbag. But what is unchanged all these years is that there's a need to feel elegant, and a handbag, good handbag, makes you feel more elegant, and especially when it functions in the right way, it gives you, just an extra thing in. So my task was to design a 21st century handbag experience. I made a lot of designs and sketches. And I also saw an opportunity for technology. So here you can see a lot of different prototypes with technology. And in the end, I concluded that actually to make things better, I should leave things out. Less is more, as we all know. So instead of adding things, I left one of the straps out. So you only have one strap, which makes it easier to open the bag while you're carrying it. So here you can see the design from the back, and what makes it really stand out here, you can see that while you're carrying the bag, you can open it and you can take things out of your bag. So your keys, your phone, your wallet, all these things you have to take out very frequently. So this makes it easier to do. The strap is adjustable, so you can carry it shorter or longer depending on the way you're moving, or your body length or your preference. And what makes it really stand out is that it's bright inside. There's a light inside the bag. You can't see the LEDs themselves, but the inside is illuminated, which is especially useful during the night when the content is normally not very well visible. Also, you can charge your devices inside the bag with USB. And the bag itself you need to charge as well, of course. And that can be done wirelessly. You just put it on the wireless charger, and the next day you're ready to go. This was very important because if you add technology, we don't want to make lives more complicated and give you extra tasks to charge your bag. And if you can just put it on the wireless charger, it's actually no real extra task. It's a nice location in the house where you can put your handbag. So in the meantime, we have 3 models. This is the first one. Actually made out of vegetable tanned leather, vaqueta. This is all natural leather on the right. It's also not painted. So this is the natural color of the leather. It's produced all leather, the whole product is produced in Italy. And with the vegetable tanned leather, we believe that if you start a company in the 21st century, you need to think about sustainability and have a minimal impact on the environment. And this is why we think it only makes sense to use this vegetable tanned leather. This is the second model. It's a tote that also fits a laptop. And this is our last model. It's a crossbody model with the same technology inside, but in a smaller model. Actually, our product fits very well in the movement in society that also women should be more involved in technology, both in using technology, but also in developing technology and innovating. and we really noticed that both our customers really believe in this aspect, but also the media has picked up upon it. So this was an article recently in the Dutch newspaper about technology, and it actually emphasized also how important it is that also women are involved in developing technology. Yeah, this is my story, and if you would like to hear more about it, please contact me on simone@minois.co. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation, Simone. So now we open the debate for an interaction with the exhibitors. We have received some questions. So the first question for Lilo: which kind of market do you foresee for the product you created? Yeah, someone is asking about the market you foresee for the creation, for your creations.
Yeah, for sure. Well, at this specific moment, I'm going to focus in the UK because this is where I'm based. But it's more for it's just, I think, a lifestyle consumer that, you know, really cares about sustainability, but also cares about how the products are made and the reusability of these components, because they can purchase them progressively, so they can build a collection of them. So it's more for like the collector type jeweler, jewelry buyer, but it's more like a collector type. It's almost like component, say Pandora format, but it's more like in the artistic side of it. So the idea is to make each of the components more into the artistic side and collaborate with craftsmen and artists to make these components so they are one of a kind. So this kind of market is the one that I want to tap in, but it's something that I want to put out there and see what happens as well. I've had reactions from people ranging from 25 years old to 65. So the range is quite broad. So I'll have to see how things can shape over the course of the development of putting things out there and see what happens essentially.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Also, we have, I think, 2 questions for the project 0/100. The first question: in your opinion, why millennials are so actively interested in sustainability? Do you think same will happen with the Generation Z? This is the first question. And the second question comes from YouTube. The zero waste seems so interesting. Is it a long process? How does it work?
Okay, thanks. Okay. So I'm pretty sure, I mean, the data I shared are both for millennials and Gen Z. So it's definitely clear that both of the generations are in that direction. And I think it's because they were grown with these kind of values in mind. More and more we go further, more people are sensitive to issues like sustainability, and the lifestyle of each one of us, I think it's improving in this sense. So children were grown already in this way. So I think it will be definitely like this. And for the second question, that is about the zero waste, it is definitely not easy. So the process of creating the patterns take more time than the conventional manufacturing for sure. But I think it's important to highlight the fact that you are not only saving materials, that is already like fundamental for a brand that decides to go in the direction of sustainability, but also it's a saving in terms of money, because if you consider that usually at least 15% of materials go wasted, and especially in our case, we are focusing with really premium materials that can go up to 20 or 30 euros per meter. That means also an economical savings. So the time you're investing, then it's like invested properly and in a positive way in order to have like an optimization, both economical and in terms of sources. And I also want to highlight the fact that there is no restriction about shapes or fit. In our case, we want to go for the oversize because of the versatility and the idea of really hugging the body. But I think zero waste pattern making technique really allows to create any kind of shape. And so it's just about experimenting more and more and trying to find and to meet your design style. Thanks for the questions.
Thank you for your reply. We have another question, and this goes for the project Modifiable Vegan Bag Collection. How many hours are required to create one of the bags of your collection? Is this a complex process?
If it's the question, how many hours does it take to put one bag together, to actually hand stitch a bag? It takes maybe 2 hours. So because it's produced in such a way that the holes for the stitching are already laser cut. So it's a pretty simple process to actually put the bag together.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have another question for the project. Bicircular Phrasing is not with us now, but we can email him later. Let me see. A question for the project Alma. Does the apple alga letter you created have does it have some special features like smell, texture, protein, or others?
Yes, if you think that it have like a apple smell or a taste, no, it's just like a normal leather. If you feel it, if I have a bag here, I can show you. Maybe this is the bag. So as you can see, it's just like a normal. Somebody said to not call it leather, so yeah, it's. But no, if you think it has something from the apples, no, it doesn't have the smell or the taste. Or actually, we didn't try to eat it or taste it. So, yeah.
So that's completely comparable to the conventional leather in terms of the touching and finishes. We have another question for Aurore, the project Maritech. Which will be the ideal buyers for Maritech? Are you planning for more applications for the material you created?
So for Maritech project, our ideal customer is someone living in city. That's why we wanted to work on perforated shapes, because we thought about a small place to live on or to work in. So it's mainly adaptable shapes. So that's why we can create your own wall according to your own space. So for us, we aim to work on architecture companies and indoor architecture companies and not directly with the customer. And so we can adapt also the shape to different projects as well, because it's digitalization processes for 3D printing. And so we can adapt the shape to different projects. And also for more personalization, we have been developing a service for really precise pieces, more on decoration pieces, looks like ceramic or sculpture, but that's another side.
Okay, thank you, Aurore. Okay, let me check the Q&A section. answer to sustainable startups. How do you combine design, price, and new generations requests? It's easy for you to reach. Is it easy for you to reach new generation? This is a general question. Yeah, maybe someone, if someone wants to reply. So the question says, how do you combine design, price, and new generation requests? Is it easy for you to reach the new generation of consumers?
I believe that each project has been thought about sustainability, and this is a key notion for young generation, also for older generation, but I think the young generation is really asking for that. So I believe that all the projects and works have been developed here would answer to this key point that is really a massive request from the customers, the young generation customer. Then regarding the economic part, I guess all projects are still developing, so maybe we can have different branch and sectors for different customers as well, but that will evolve in the future, I believe so.
Yeah, definitely. So I can see now another question for Alka. How came out the idea to use post-consumer plastic waste as a material source for your works? So in the meantime, I can see Simon from Minois is back with us. Simon, we had a question for you. Someone says, I didn't know about the 75 days. But as a woman, that's a reasonable amount of time. Did your own experience inspire you to create your project Minois? So they are asking if there is any personal experience behind your creation.
Yes, well, actually the 75 days, I didn't make it up. I read it somewhere, and I think indeed it's a long time, but it is not completely unrealistic. My own inspiration, yeah, I think I was always working before this. I was working for TomTom, and I was leading the concept department, so designing new concepts for products. And already then I had the idea of a handbag that it's actually a bit of an old-fashioned product that has never really been innovated. So and together with my own experience with handbags, it led me to believe that there's an opportunity there, and I think there's still a lot more opportunities, maybe specifically in handbags and accessories and wallets, but in general maybe in products for women. Most of the time people don't think of technology when they're designing for women. I think it's a missed opportunity. I think there's still a lot of it's an area, a very interesting area to explore.
Great, thank you, Simon. So the partner from the project, Alka, will reply to the question through the chat. So in the meantime, I can see a question for Make Your Bed. I really like your project. What was the most thrilling moment of its realization?
The most, sorry, can you repeat, Siki?
Yeah, the most thrilling moment of its realization, the most exciting moment. Yeah, I think they meant.
Yeah, well, the most challenging, it was clear, it was the pandemic, because it was at the time we were planning to organize the swap markets. The most thrilling and exciting, I think, was to see the collection made, indeed, because it was a common exercise. Even the capsule collection, we we always try to work as a team. So even the concept and the designs, despite it was me who designed it and manufactured, I tried to share everything, every detail, every design. So it was a real teamwork. And I think the most exciting part was when we saw the pictures for the editorial made by the editorial team. They were amazing, and I think this was the most exciting, as well as to see how Marta, through the natural dyeing techniques, she totally transformed these ugly bed linings and discarded bed lining sheets. I think this was amazing. Yeah, I don't know if I replied to the question, but thank you for the support.
Yeah, for sure you answered the question. And now we have the answer from Alka. I think Isaiah is the partner behind this project, right? So to the question, how came out the idea to use post-consumer plastic waste as a material source for your rugs? Isaiah says, mainly because there is a hard reality that we have to face. We are already surrounded by a lot of plastic. That's a current and devastating problematic. So I really wanted to do something to help in this issue. Try to elevate the perception of waste and make a desirable product. Yeah. Also, I have the inspiration of other fashion brands. For example, EcoAlf, says Isaiah. Yeah, thank you, Isaiah. Okay. I think that we have all the questions answered already. Someone from the exhibitors want to highlight any conclusion? So if not, so many thanks to the first round of 9 projects addressing the circular economy and resources efficiency challenge. Thank you for staying with us, and also join us today in the afternoon for the second virtual tour, where a second round of partnerships will show their results. Don't forget to use the same Zoom link. See you at 3 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.